You had mentioned earlier that you felt that this recruiting class was the best equipped to handle all of the aspects that BYU offers. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I've learned a lot in my 7 years at BYU. My wife and I and our coaches, we're interested in embracing higher standards than we currently have. I have stated a number of times that the ultimate goal I think most programs have in the country on the field is to win a national championship. We hold that same goal, so we're still looking for the next tier, next caliber of athlete without compromising the values that are inherent to this institution and the academic standards as well as the ecclesiastical standards, which also, by the way, are going up. When you consider the admissions at BYU alone, every year it's one of the most desirable, if not the most desirable schools in the country when you look at number of applicants to the number of those that accept. And so I think it's just morally right to hold our football players to an increasingly high standard, as so many are being turned away from the school that have excellent grades, are endorsed, and can't get into BYU Provo. And so they end up either at Utah Valley as a great choice, or BYU Idaho, or BYU Hawaii. But this is a desirable place, and I'm hoping that the football program carries its weight as well in setting a mark for Division I programs academically as well. And so, again, the standards are going up, and this class reflects the higher standards yet, not only on the field, in the classroom, but off the field. And that in and of itself will give us the chance to sustain the success we're having, which is what we're interested in. We're not interested in 1 year in, 1 year out of the national spotlight. We've proven and are continuing to prove that we are consistent. That's only possible with the right type of young men. And I think I have to be forward-thinking in what the standards are doing, and hopefully trying to stay in advance of them rather than catching up to them.
Coach Dave McCann from BYU TV in the corner here. This is the first case study of recruiting as an independent. What did you sense as the pros and or maybe the cons moving forward?
A couple of things that we expected. In recruiting, you learn a lot about other programs as well. You see sometimes the best in people in recruiting, and I'm talking about other coaches and programs, and sometimes you see the worst in terms of morals and ethics and things that are done. We had a chance to answer a lot more questions, meaning that the pool started a little bit wider than what we have had the past 6 years, mostly from young people that weren't members of the LDS Church, that weren't necessarily in the West, that were elsewhere because they'd seen us play and they liked the way we played. And so we fielded so many more questions from high school coaches, the areas that we hadn't been before, or parents that were calling that had an interest in BYU and wanted to know more. And so the volume of work not only went from maintaining the existing group and kind of the pool and the philosophy we've normally had, it went to now expanding and answering questions and filtering through a broader number of players that seem to be finding us through the exposure. From a negative standpoint, other schools targeted on many occasions that there wasn't a championship to be played for, which again I've tried to state as clearly as possible, which we're not the only program that would like to do this. I think most Division I programs are in the hunt and would like to qualify for a national championship. That is what we're playing for. Right beneath that would be a state championship, which we think is very important, and there are good teams in the state now. As you look at not only Utah State and Utah and ourselves, but then you have 2 other really good programs emerging in Weber and Southern Utah, and so the state plays good football. So when you look about winning locally first, that's great, expanding nationally second, and that didn't seem to be as big of issue once it was addressed, but other schools certainly used that or attempted to use it from an independent exposure standpoint, independent move standpoint.